Hello and welcome to my SIP Senior Innovation Project update for week 3. I think I made a pretty good jump this week because I went from not knowing exactly how I was going to get this bot to be able to talk to the player. All I've done so far is just kind of like build the world that it can walk around in and call its home. But I have not been able to figure out how to actually make it talk. But this week, I think I've made a pretty good leap forward, and it makes me feel pretty good, and makes the weeks to come look promising to get this to an even better spot. So right here is where, because this is going to be all in VR, this is where the player is going to spawn in once they start the app from the headset. I might move them. I was planning on moving the character out here, but I just moved it closer just as like testing purposes. But what I found was there's a plugin that you can do for basically text to speech. But it doesn't come with the engine, unfortunately. I kept on seeing stuff for text to speech, but when I looked in the plugins, you couldn't find anything. The only thing you could find with text is the 3D text generator. But then I found something in the Epic store, or at least the Unreal Engine marketplace, the TTS Universal plugin. Basically, TTS Universal Text to Speak. This one looks the most promising. There was another one there was another option, but it looked like it was very new, so I didn't want to kind of play around with something that could be buggy. So this one looked like a pretty good safe bet. So I installed it for Unreal Engine 4.27, and then I restarted it, enabled it, and there you go. What you had to do though is you have to enable it first in the level itself. So if we went to the open level blueprint, and it's literally as simple as this. You just event begin play. As soon as it starts, you're just initiating the plugin for the player. And now we're in the blueprint for the bot itself. So I created this, and it's very just simple. I didn't know how I wanted to run this, how to make it work. So basically on event begin play, text to speech, which is part of the plugin, and then you can fill in whatever you want it to say here. You can choose a different language if you wanted to, so this could be in Russian, Spanish, whatever you want it to be. But I wanted to kind of like play around with it and have it be like a greeting, like right on the beginning. It greets the player and then asks what they want, if there's something that you can do. And I just kind of made some delay between each saying. So when this is ran.
Hello Tyler, how are you today? I am well, thanks for asking. Is there something I can do for you?
So this is basically just a rough start, just a really good beginning. I'm glad that I was able to figure it out. I was thinking about putting it in the level, but then it would just be like the bot is just here as a figurehead. You know what I mean? It's just there as for show, where the voice is just coming from like the world itself, and I didn't want that. So I decided to use the blueprint for the bot itself and have it come from the bot itself, because that would make more sense. I was figuring out a way where I can make it so that way it looks like it's actually talking, since it really just has a blank face, but it has a bunch of light on it. So I was thinking if there's a way for me to, as it's talking, the light changes from white. When it's not talking, it's white, and when it's talking, it's different colors, so that way the player knows that it's coming from him. Because once you kind of come in, you're wondering who's kind of talking. I mean, I guess you could come to the conclusion that it's the bot because it's the only human life form in this level. So where else would the voice be coming from? But I mean, there's definitely a lot more I could play around with to make this more realistic. But I think it's definitely a good step forward from where I was before. Now I actually have this bot talking and speaking with the user. I would like in this discussion to hopefully get some feedback on how to make this feel more realistic and flow smoother. I might keep this just because I like how as soon as a player comes into the level, it asks how they're doing and then just says, hey, is there something I could do for you? And then going from there, I need to figure out a way to branch off from this and have it wait for player input somehow through the voice recognition. That's probably my next steps. Figuring out how this bot can wait and hold up for player input, and then once it receives a player input, respond accordingly. Like, do you want, I want you to research something for me, and then from there it goes on and does what it needs to do. This is kind of just like a good base start, just for it to speak right on start, but definitely give me some feedback on what you guys think would be the smartest and best approach for this guy to be moving forward in terms of realism and flow, if you will. But I feel like this is definitely a good start and makes me feel good for the last 2 weeks to come. Something I could really clean up and make better. But this is my update for my senior innovation project, Oculus Consort.